We are the Group 3 and I am Rodeza Sante together with Marichu, Joanne, Mika, Dayan, Veggie, and Marjorie. And for today, we will be discussing you about our topic, which is mass society.
This week, we are going to look at theory. It is a very powerful theory and is very influential. In fact, this is a theory for media studies. It is partly responsible for the emergence of media studies and key to the demonizations of media studies. This argument underpins a lot of political commentary, and you will see it all around you.
The theory is called mass society or mass culture theory. Mass society or mass culture theory suggests that modern industrialized societies create a culture that is mass-produced and designed to appeal to a broad audience. Indicate descriptions of the theory loss of vision but with a clear set of beliefs. These include the beliefs that industrialization societies produce mass culture that is standardized, aimed to large audience and often lacks of depth. Important to understand that this is a theory, it is an biological position to explain how the world works. It offers a perspective on how mass culture and media influence society, but is one of many ways of interpret this idea. We may agree or disagree with this, but it is only an interpretation of the world. However many, it has a high degree of verisimilitude or the appearance of truth. Mass society or mass culture theory is just one way of interpreting the world. People many agree or disagree with this, but for many it feels very believable and seems to explain how society works.
Modern life is not rubbish. This is slide that modern life is better than pre-modern life, especially in terms of health and living standards, like health improvement. Modern machine has eradicated deadly diseases like smallpox, which killed millions in the past. Better living standard. Modern life provides better material condition, clean water, better housing, and more reliable food supply compared to the struggles of the past. In short, this suggests that modern advancements have made life significantly better for most people. Rationalism and scientific advancement using logic and science has led to major discoveries and improvement in technology, medicine, and daily life. Bureaucratization. Organized systems like a government and institution help manage large population efficiently. Capitalism. Economic system focused on trade, businesses, and wealth creation have driven innovation and material progress. Education. Access to school and learning has grown, helping more people improve their lives. These features make the modern world highly advancement, organized, and different from the simpler, less developed life of our ancestors.
However, this progress has a downside. Mass society theory proposes that as well as benefit, the changes brought about also have downside. Within the transition from the pre-modern world to the modern one, we have lost the old bonds that bound communities together. The modern world has established the previous social and moral structure. We have lost the immediate social bonds to family and community that gave us our place in the world.
Cut and brief. The text describes a societal shift for the decline of tradition band, religion, trade guide, clans, etc. And the movement from small communities to large urban areas have to lead to a mass society. This mass society is characterized as universal and equal, but also utterly atomized, meaning individuals are isolated despite the apparent equality and universality. Community versus society. The text argues that the contracts between community means viewed as good, traditional, and real, and the society means since as bad, modern, and artificial has been a central theme in the 20th century political discourse, used by both left and right wings ideologies.
Noong sinaunang panahon, sinasabing ang ating mga kaugalian at halaga ay nagmula sa ating komunidad at sa sining nito. Kung mahirap, ang mga kaugalian ay nagmumula sa mga likhang bayan tulad ng mga kagamitang yari sa kamay, awit o dekorasyong tradisyonal. Kung mayaman, ang mga halaga ay hinuhubog ng mga pinong sining tulad ng mga pintura, eskultura o literatura na nagpapakita ng karangyaan at mataas na ideya. Maghiwalay ang dalawang anyo ng sining, ngunit parehong naging angkop sa pangangailangan ng kanilang mga komunidad. Ang Atomic World ay tumutukoy sa isang lipunan kung saan ang mga tao ay nagiging hiwa-hiwalay. Walang masyadong koneksyon sa isa't isa at mas nakatuon sa kanilang sarili kaysa sa komunidad o pangkalahatang kabutihan. Ang bagong kultura ay tumutukoy sa mga bagong ideya, halaga, gawain at paraan ng pamumuhay na umuusbong sa isang lipunan. Madalas itong resulta ng pagbabago sa teknolohiya, impluwensya mula sa ibang bansa, mga kilusang panlipunan o pagbabago ng pananaw ng mga tao. Halimbawa, ang paglaganap ng social media ay nagdulot ng bagong kultura kung saan mas mabilis at madaling makipag-usap, magbahagi ng impormasyon at magpahayag ng sarili.
Step forward pop culture. The mass market and mass media of the modern world need filling. Huge store with shelves that need to be filled with products that's like the mass media and the mass markets. They need tons of content and products to keep people interested and buying. We develop a popular culture that can be sold to the masses. Developing a popular culture that can be sold to the masses means creating trends, products, or experiences that resonate with a wide audience. Pop culture is manufactured, it is produced by an industry and is therefore regarded by this theory as less authentic, less valuable, and some way false. Pop culture is kind of like those toys. It's made by big companies, not just by individuals. So some people think it's not as special or genuine as something made by hand. Therefore, it should be criticized and rejected. Similarly, some people believe that pop culture, because it mass produced, lacks depth and originality. They might choose to focus on art, literature, or music that they feel is more authentic or meaningful. Next is criticism. However, the masses are not critically endowed. They are the mass, the stupid, the challenging. This is a very harsh view. It's like saying everyone who enjoys popular toys is somehow less intelligent. But people enjoy different things. Some people might love playing video games, while others prefer reading poetry. It is important to remember that everyone is different and has their own taste. Criticism has always been the job of the elite. They look at their art and judge it. This is similar to how in the past, a small group of people who were considered elite or educated would judge and critique art, literature, and music. They would decide what was good and what was not. But now there is only one culture, mass culture. That role is problematic. Imagine if everyone only played the same video game. It would be fun for a while, but eventually people might get bored. There be no variety. Next is criticizing culture. The manner in which culture had historically been examined has been to differentiate good from bad, to sort the wheat from the chaff. Imagine a farmer gathering wheat. They need to separate the good wheat from the bad, the chaff. Historically, people look at culture like that. They try to decide what was good and what was bad. They wanted to keep the good and get rid of the bad. Criticism, from this semi-classical perspective, is about making value judgment. Imagine a group of chefs tasting different dishes. They're not just saying this tastes good or this tastes bad. They're trying to understand why it tastes good or bad, what makes it special or not. It's about analyzing the work and figuring out its value. Education was about learning what is good culture, the great words. Learning about the most famous and important paintings in the you learn about their history, their techniques, and why they're considered so great. Culture was considered differentiated high cultures and folk culture. High culture intended for the elite. High culture is a collection of ideas, practices, and words that are intellectual or creative. Folk culture is stable over time and is transmitted through speaking to others or participating in activities. Only high culture is really worth considering as that is the best as society has produced. Imagine, some people believe that only high culture like those famous paintings is truly important and worth studying. They think that the best of what a society has produced is found in its high culture, not in its everyday traditions or popular entertainment. Culture is a measure of a society's civilization. Culture is like a reflection of society's civilization. It shows how advanced and sophisticated a society is. The more beautiful art, literature, and music of society creates, the more civilized it's seen as being. The more sophisticated the culture, the more advanced the society. It means the more sophisticated a society's culture is, the more advanced it's seen as being.
In contemporary Western society, culture often refers to the following: classical art, traditional paintings and sculptures often displayed in museums created by famous artists from the past. High literature, famous books and writings considered essential for being well educated, often referred to as the classics. Classical music, complex and sophisticated music composed by well-known musicians from history like Beethoven or Mozart. Art films, unique creative movies that are seen as masterpieces of Western art and storytelling. These are these are the viewed as a way to define what is considered good or valuable in cultural practices. In this topic, elite cultural critics often look down on popular culture because they believe it is made for the masses and is of lower quality. They think it can negatively influence people, especially those with less education, and cause problems like violence. However, they don't have the same concerns about high culture even when it involves dark or violent themes like in the opera Carmen. These ideas, which focus on community-based solutions and reducing bureaucracy, have been around since the 1920s and 1930s. After World War II, they gained popularity. Today, they can often appear in conservative party policies, but also in some left-wing discussions. The main idea is that local communities should solve problems without relying too much on government or large organizations.
Media culture is bad. From this perspective, media culture is bad thing. It damages society. It attacks traditional social values and undermines them. This opinion is very popular because social media is something that employers and the school will use in attempts to evaluate prospective or current students, but there is a danger to it. The real villains. Our mass culture is partly to blame for our contemporary problems. Particular, this blame is held for people who dare to study mass or pop culture. What possible work can there be in studying it? And as it's popular culture and not high or difficult, it must be easy. The purpose of criticism to determine good from bad, so why study obviously bad? Criticism may also refer to an expression of disapproval of some or something. When criticism of this nature is constructive, it can make an individual aware of gaps on their understanding. Media studies, different emphasis. Media studies is not about deciding what is good and bad in popular culture. We are not interested in how culture functions, the industries behind them, the mechanics of text, and the politics of media. Ang pag-aaral sa media ng isang disiplina at larangan ng pag-aaral na tumatalakay sa nilalaman, kasaysayan at mga epekto ng iba't ibang media sa partikular ng mass media. Our interest. We explicitly study the popular, not because it is easy, but because it is popular. We should study what people watch. We should try and understand how the popular function and how it contributes to how our society operates. With this in mind, what should be the subject of media subject? So, media subject is a discipline and field of study that deals with the content history of various media. Kumbaga, matutuhan mo kung paano suriin ang paraan ng pagpapakita, pagre-represent at pag-impluensya ng media.